This little video, we're going to look at subject terms. Every article record you go into, here we were on our search results, and we clicked into the second record, and then we see a list of subject terms. These are very different than keywords. Now, we did our keyword search of education and earnings. All we asked the database is the word education and the word earnings somewhere in this record, right? And the database goes through and it will say, okay, if it's education is in or earnings is in the title, we're going to rank it higher than say if it's in the abstract. All right, and that's how it figures out and creates your list. All right, but all it does is it means that they are in there. It doesn't mean that this article is about education and about earnings. It is simply containing those words. Subject terms do mean that they are about this. All right, so we can see here that if we want to see all the education articles about education in this database, we click on the subject term education. Everything in this database marked about education gets that subject. You can just think. You can see how powerful this would be. If you want articles that are about something, it is way more efficient to use the subject term than it is to just use a keyword. So now we can go ahead and we can click education and submit a new search. And we see here we get the DE with education in parentheses around it. And that there are 204,000 articles in here about education. But now, instead of searching millions of articles, we're searching only 204,000 articles. And we can still enter more search terms in here, but now we are searching in this silo of articles only about education. But we can do more. We've seen that wages was one of the other keywords, or subject terms in that last article. So we can type in wages, and we can come over here, and we can look for subject terms. Now this, selecting it here and typing it like this is the same as doing it like this. It doesn't make a difference, all right? So now we can do a search for all the articles about education and about wages. And there are 530 of them. Now if we come over here, we can go ahead and limit again to peer-reviewed sources only, down to 300, and we can go ahead and update our range if we only want stuff reflecting the last 5 years, 45. If you recall from the other videos, when I did keyword searches for education and earnings, I had over 10,000 articles, and I was only able to limit those down to 1,600 through peer-reviewed publication date range and through articles in English. And I haven't even gotten to any of these other ones, but I've already gotten it down to 45. 45 is much more manageable than 1,600. All right, and we know that these are about those topics. They just don't contain the word. You can see now how powerful subjects are. Now, EBSCO, Gale, ProQuest all use subjects. JSTOR uses disciplines, a much more general concept. It is not the same at all. So be careful when you go into other ones. Make sure that they're actually called subjects. And then not all databases have them. Another point of emphasis, each database's subjects can and probably are different. All right, so I can't go to ProQuest now and expect to use the same subjects and get the same results. All right, you can go up to where they have subject terms up at the top here, or sometimes it is called a thesaurus. Lots of different terms mean the same thing when it comes to these. Sometimes in the medical field, it's called MESH, medical subject headings. You can go there and type in a term, and it will tell you which term you should use instead. All right, so if we typed in education, or say maybe we typed in teaching, it would say maybe use education as an example. Or for earnings, it would have told us to use wages, not earnings. And then we also know that it is a subject heading, and so we can come through here and use the subject term and put that term in. All right, otherwise, typically what I often do is I just use keywords until I find at least one good article, or I see in the subject term listings art terminology that matches what I'm looking for, and then I replace my keywords with those. Now, if you have any questions, please let us know.